Last week, we tested Justin on his driving abilities, and he would have failed his road test a total of 4 times. But that doesn't matter, because he's only in a competition with Sarah right now. He's not trying to get his license. So as long as his total is still better than Sarah's, he will win. This is Sarah's Judgment Day. Unlike Justin, Sarah starts off realizing that the back door is left open. Now, there's a couple ways that you can tell this from outside the car. First of all, if you think all the doors are closed but the lights are still on, there's still a door open. And she did a walk around and found it anyway. She also took the handbrake off before she started driving. Now, for this challenge, Sarah will do the exact same route as Justin, pass all the same stop signs, all the same traffic lights, the same roads, the same speeding sections, highways, everything. And then she'll finish with parking.
What are you doing?
No.
Hi, world! I'll say hi to my fan club. So what am I doing?
Okay, you just drive and follow the instructions. That's the last thing I'm going to be telling you, that's all. That's the instructions. Okay?
The instructions.
Yep.
I don't even know where I'm going.
Nope, that's all. Sarah's also doing this challenge around the same time of the day as Justin, so it'll be an evening drive. It'll get darker as we get going here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that Sarah doesn't know how many points Justin lost.
Okay. Going now.
So far, this drive is going much better than Justin's, but really there's not much competition here. Justin lost 35 points before he even got out of the parking space. Now, you'll notice that a lot of the cars will have their headlights on this early in the evening. That's fine, but we're not to the point yet where the auto headlights kick in, so I'm not going to remove points until we get to that point. Now, Sarah does do this intersection perfectly. There was a truck coming, so she had to stop. I'm not sure if she would have stopped otherwise, but anyway, that was a stroke of luck if that's the only thing that made her stop. But then we come out here, we get on Forest Road with a left turn here. She comes down, this is a 4-way stop, and she just doesn't stop. In a real road test, failing to stop at a stop sign is an automatic fail. You lose 50 points for it in this challenge because 50 points is a fail in a provincial road test in Newfoundland. Coming into this mock road test, Sarah said the only thing that she was concerned about was parking. But she's going to have to work on stopping at stop signs if she wants to get her license. At this point of the drive, that one mistake by Sarah, not stopping at that stop sign, equals the total points that Justin has, 50 points, for 4 mistakes that he done. 15 points each for not noticing that the door was open and the handbrake was on, and failing to signal a right turn at Plymouth Road, and also 5 points for not having the headlights on. But it's not dark enough for Sarah to have the headlights on yet, so we'll see if she notices. Now coming up here to Allendale Road, Sarah knows this section of the city much better than Justin would, but it is fairly obvious that this is a 2-lane road. So Sarah does this correctly. She turns into the nearest lane of traffic and then signals over to the left lane to be able to turn left here on Prince Philip Drive. That's how you do it without losing any points. Here on Clinch Crescent, where Justin lost points for driving in an oncoming traffic left turn lane, Sarah stays far to the right to turn left into this parking lot here. But then when she goes to leave the parking lot, she doesn't stop at the stop sign. Listen in as she loses another 50 points.
I'm gonna beat him on this road test, which ultimately means I stop.
All the points Sarah's lost so far have been because of stop signs, but that was the last stop sign on this entire drive, so now it should just be clear sailing. After this next set of lights on Thorburn Road, the right lane ends, but Sarah doesn't realize it until it's too late.
What?
This isn't a lane now.
Oh. I didn't know.
No signal. Sarah does a shoulder check to change the lanes, but she doesn't use her signal light. Usually it's the other way around. Coming up Dorburn Road here, we meet a whole string of traffic with their headlights on. And I notice that it is dark enough now for the headlights to be on. The light in the dashboard for the daytime running lights has cut off. But Sarah still doesn't have the headlights on. So that's 5 points. So that's pretty much it for this whole road test. Now it's just a little bit of highway driving, all the way across to where she's going to park. But driving on the highway still gives me an opportunity to get her to lose some more points by offering for her to use cruise control and get something from the back seat for me. But she turns down cruise control.
You can use cruise control.
But she does almost take the bait to get something from the back seat for me. Better judgment pays off at the very end.
It's really hard to find out. When you grab it up hard to go to the back of the seat.
Are you cracked?
No.
Am I allowed to do that as a driver person?
Are you?
No. I have to pay attention to the road.
And now with the highway driving section coming to a close, it's time to get off the highway and onto Torbay Road. Now I wanted to slow it down and include this section here, because Justin did speed pretty good on this ramp. He was doing about 60 when he passed the sign that said 40. So I wanted to show what Sarah did here. She was slowing down all along into the off ramp, and then by the time she got to the sign that said 40, she was down to about the speed limit. So I never got her for speeding here. And then it's just about 10 seconds down Torbay Road and we're ready to get to the parking section of the license test. On the driving portion of this mock test, Sarah failed twice, which is 1 time less than Justin. So now it's time to do some angle parking, and like Justin, Sarah will get 2 attempts. Sarah does have an advantage over Justin though. At this point of Justin's test, it was already pretty dark out. So Sarah starts backing into the parking space, but stops here to adjust her mirrors. Now, I mean, I'm sure that she could have done this before this point of the parking, and, in a real road test, this would be a fail because you have to do it in a certain amount of time as well. But she gets her mirrors adjusted, and thank God she notices that she's not going to be able to make this turn. Now, it's time for Sarah's second and final attempt at angle parking. For this last attempt, she starts turning way too late and parks on top of the cone on the side of the parking space. That's a fail. Minus 50 points. Now, she's getting that much closer to Justin. So, for parallel parking, Sarah gets 3 attempts. In her first attempt at parallel parking, Sarah backs up here, getting a little bit too close to the cones at the front of the parking space. But that doesn't matter too much for what she does after that. She gets out to way too extreme of an angle to be able to turn back from when she's this close to the curb. And then she just proceeds to then back up into the curb. But that was just her first attempt. That was just her warm-up attempt. She failed, sure, but she gets 2 more attempts at it. So here's her second attempt. A lot better. She starts farther away from the cones and already turning when she gets to this point. She doesn't back out to as extreme of an angle, and if she straightened her wheels right here, she'd actually be able to make it in straight, but she doesn't. She is a lot closer in this attempt, however. She still hits the curb, but she got back a lot more straight than she did in her second attempt. And then on her third and final attempt, she gets out farther away from the cones, backs in at an angle here, which is way farther ahead in the parking space than she did previously. And then she backs in almost perfectly. She stops the car right here, which could be turned into a perfect parallel parking attempt, but she doesn't move ahead, so she's too far back in the space and she's too far away from the curb with the front of the car, but still within a foot, so I did take 10 points away for being out of position for parallel parking. That's not technically a fail. Then I go over and I show her what to do to make it a perfect attempt. To recap the parking portion of Sarah's road test, she failed angle parking, so that was 50 points. She passed parallel parking out of position and lost 10 points, so her total for her whole road test is 180 points, which beats Justin by 45 points. And because this was really the tiebreaker challenge, Sarah wins the entire thing.